We are back, and the UFC is back. Tomorrow night, day, morning, depending on where you are. For me, it is at 9 a.m. sharp. We got UFC Baku. The main evented by Rafael Fiziev versus Manuel Torres. You know what I'm here for. You know what we're about to do here. You know what it is. Breakdown and predictions. I'm going to go over every single fight. All the way from the first fight on the early prelims, all the way to, of course, that main event of Rafael Fiziev versus Manuel Torres. I'm going to tell you who I think is going to win, why I think they're going to win, and how they're going to win, when they're going to win, and where they're going to win, who they're going to win. You get the point, right? So let's get right into it. There's a lot of fun fights on this card. Main card is very exciting as well. You know what? Disclaimer before we get into this. A lot of guys on this card. Tough names to pronounce, so bear with me here. I'm just an American white kid from Ohio. You know, I'm gonna try to say what I can say, but if I mess it up, whatever. Anyway, first fight, welterweights: Tahir Abdullayev versus Jefferson Nascimento. Abdullayev is a heavy grappler. He's looking to grapple. He's a submission guy. If he's going to finish you, it's most likely going to be by way of submission. Jefferson Nascimento is an LFA champion, an undefeated LFA champion at that, 13-0. He's a great striker. Classic matchup here, striker versus grappler. I'm going with the striker. Jefferson Nascimento, dude's an LFA champion for a reason. LFA is one of the highest levels of mixed martial arts they can be at without being in the UFC. They are a very feeder program for the UFC. You've seen a ton of good UFC fighters come through from the LFA. Nascimento coming from there himself, being a champion there, an undefeated one at that. I'm taking him to win this fight. I think he's going to get it done. I think he's going to get a finish in his UFC debut. Give me Jefferson Nascimento, round 2 knockout or TKO over Tahir Abdullayev. First fight of the night. Starting off with a finish. Let's go. You know, there's no women on this card, by the way, so that makes me happy. Let's move on. Next fight. I always say his last name wrong. Bekzat Alkmahan versus Gene Matsumoto. In this fight, bantamweight fight. Bekzat, man, it's been a minute since we've seen him. He's a KO fighter, though. He's looking to knock you out. He's fought some tough guys. Those tough guys being Umar Nurmagomedov and Topuria Noelia. I'm talking Alexandre Topuria, his brother. That's who he fought. Those were his 2 losses in the UFC, and his 1 win, I can't remember, but it was a knockout. Matsumoto, very good grappler, but he's fun to watch. He'll get into some scraps, he'll get into some wars. You see that a lot with Brazilian guys that are grapplers. They're not just grapplers, like they're grapplers first, they're good BJJ guys, but they love to scrap, they love to get in the wars. Gene Matsumoto, just like that. This fight's gonna be fun. I was very on the fence about this one of where I want to go. But I think I'm going to go with Gene Matsumoto to win by decision here. I think he can mix it up just a little bit more than Bekzat can. If Bekzat wins, I can definitely see a knockout because I can see Matsumoto getting stuck. Or not getting stuck, but getting pulled into that firefight, into that war, that scrap, that dog fight that I said he likes to get into. And I think getting in one of those with Bekzat, who's got KO power, not the best idea. So if he does get stuck into there, I can see him getting knocked out. But I think he'll play it smart. He'll strike when he needs to, but he'll also mix in his good grappling and jiu-jitsu when he needs to as well. And I believe that'll get him a decision win here. So give me Gene Matsumoto by decision. Next one. Daniil Doncheko versus Theodore Bergeron. All right. Definitely said those names right. Here we go. I know I said Doncheko right, because Doncheko, he's a dog, bro. You're a dog, bro. He's so fun to watch. He's an entertaining fighter. This dude's coming to fight and inflict pain, punishment, and damage. He won the Ultimate Fighter. I believe it was the Ultimate Fighter 31, I believe is the one that he won. That being said, old Theodore here, no Simon, no Alvin. All of his wins are finishes. This is his UFC debut, and it is short notice. I think that's a recipe for disaster for him. Making your debut against Daniil Doncheko is rough, especially on short notice. So I'm going with Daniil Doncheko to win this fight. Round 1 knockout or TKO. Like I said, that's a rough guy. That's a rough guy to make your debut against, especially on short notice. I just don't like that for Theodore. Even if he does lose the way I think he's going to lose, maybe the UFC will respect what he did and they'll give him another shot with a full camp against a more matched opponent for him. But this ain't the night. This ain't your night, kid. Thanks for coming. Danilo Doncheco, first round knockout TKO. Book it now, brother. Let's move on to the featherweights. Con Offley versus Javier Reyes. Let me find the notes on this one. Offley. He's awfully bad at fight. I'm just kidding. He's a submission guy from The Ultimate Fighter. He didn't win The Ultimate Fighter like Doncheco, but he's a submission guy. And Reyes is more of a finisher. He's looking to take you out. Offley, I believe his last loss was a knockout to who? I don't remember, but I believe he did get knocked out. I could be wrong in that. You can double check me. I don't really care too much. Javier Reyes, though, has more experience, and I'm going to glean experience on this side here when it comes to these two. So I'm going to go Javier Reyes here to get it done. I think he's going to get it done by knockout or TKO round number 2. So give me Javier Reyes, round 2 knockout or TKO over Con Offley. Offley, I just don't, again, this feels more striker grappler-esque. I went with the striker earlier. I'm going to keep that ball rolling. Go with the striker again. Last card, I only got 3 fights wrong in the last card. And there was a striker versus grappler matchup. And the grappler happened to be Leon Shabazian. I picked him to win. He got knocked out in 23 seconds. So I'll be damned I make that mistake again. Give me Javier Reyes, second round knockout or TKO. Let's go. We move on. Middleweights. This fight's fun. Strikers delight here, let me tell you. Let me get the notes, too, so I can tell you exactly what I said. Nursultan Ruziboev versus Andrei Poliev. Sorry. I told you I was going to screw some of these up. Ruziboev. 4-1 in the UFC, I do believe. And his only loss is to none other than Joaquin Buckley. Buckley. Tremendously overrated, but it's okay. That's not what we're here to talk about. That is his only loss. That's a reputable loss against a ranked opponent. He's got good hands. He's a good kickboxer. He's very tall. He's got lots of fights. You look at his record, was that 36-9-2? He's had a lot of fights on the regional scene before he got to the UFC. Like I said, fun kickboxer. Poliev, also a good kickboxer. He's had some tough fights in the UFC so far, but he's a fun fighter. This is going to be a fun kickboxing matchup. That being said, I could see it going to decision, being just a fun stand-up fight. But I got to feel that some of these guys someone's going to get knocked out here. And I believe Poliev his chin has been tested before. That being said, I still believe Ruziboev is going to win this fight. He's fought better competition, and he's proved to be pretty dang good. So, give me Nursultan Ruziboev, round 2 knockout or TKO over Poliev in this fight. This fight's going to be very fun. So, if you're going to be watching the prelims, make sure you watch this one. I think this one's going to be pretty good. Ruziboev is a guy I always like to watch fight just because he catches your eye because he's big and freaky looking. You know what I'm saying? Speaking of freaky, Julius Walker, am I right? Next fight. Let me find the notes. I'm just yapping right now. But we got Abdul Rahman Yakiev versus Julius Walker. Light heavyweight fight. Obviously, Abdul Rahman Yakiev, we've talked about him on here before. His last fight he won, I believe, was a rear naked choke. Before that, he had that crazy fight where he spinning heel kicks a dude, slams him on his head, checks his oil, kisses him on the neck. He did about everything he could to that guy and then finished him in under 30 seconds. Absolutely demoralizing. I would have threw my phone in the ocean, moved away, and changed my name. And that being said, now he's taking on Julius Walker. I think the UFC knows what they got here in Abdul Rahman Yakiev. I'm going to keep saying his full name every single time, just so you know I know it. They know they got a star here in Abdul Rahman Yakiev. They know he's fun to watch. They know he can get a finish. So they give him a guy like Julius Walker. Julius Walker is just a long, lanky guy, light heavyweight. Just recently got knocked out by, I don't know how recently, but I think his most recent fight, I should say, got knocked out by Dustin Jacoby. So that being said, I believe he's going to get knocked out again. I'm going Abdul Rahman Yakiev, first round knockout or TKO over Julius Walker in this fight, man. Abdul Rahman Yakiev, golly, Abdul Rahman Yakiev is, he's a very well-rounded fighter. Like I said, the UFC knows they got a star here. I believe they're going to keep pushing said star, get him to 10-0 here, giving him Julius Walker. Pretty confident in this one that Abdul Rahman Yakiev is going to win this fight by first round knockout or TKO. To be more specific, great fight here for Abdul Rahman Yakiev to get his record up. All right, I'm done saying his name. Next fight. Farman Hassanov versus Eric Nolan welterweight fight. Now, this fight here, boys, kind of a mystery, and let me tell you why. Farman. He's 5-0, making his UFC debut, but his fights they're all regional scene fights in Azerbaijan, because that's where he's from. That's a real word. That's a real place. That's where all of his stuff is at. That's where all of his history's at. So it's like, how good is the regional scene over there? I have no clue. Eric Nolan's 0-1 in the UFC. His one loss was to Susurkaev, who we've talked about multiple times on here before. But it was on short notice, and he didn't look too bad. So it's like, I know he can compete at the UFC level against, and then Farman, I don't know, because I just don't know who he's been fighting over there. He's got 5-0, I believe 4 of those wins are by finish. But it's like, bro, who are you fighting over there? You could be Habibing up your record, you know what I'm saying? So I don't know. This is kind of a mystery fight here, but I'm going to go with the guy that has a little more experience. So give me Eric Nolan here to get this one done by decision. Maybe Farman is like an absolute dog and he's going to steamroll Eric Nolan. I just don't know. I can't trust it. So give me Eric Nolan by decision here to, what is this, start? Is this starting the main card? No, it's not. I'll shut up. It's ending the prelims, and then we start the main card. So Eric Nolan by decision is what I'm picking. That takes us to the main card here. Great card, by the way. I like this card a lot. And it starts out fun here because we got Abus Magomedov versus Mikhail Alexeychuk. Mid versus mid is what this fight is. I'm not going to lie. Abus is mid. He loses all the top level guys. Loses to Sean Strickland. Who else did he lose to? Good Lord. Joe Pyfer. Did he lose to Fluffy Hernandez? Or am I thinking of Michelle Pereira later on? I don't know. He lost to a lot of top Kyle Barallo, maybe. I don't know. Any guy that's probably ranked, if you look at all the guys ranked the top 15 at middleweight, they probably beat Abus Magomedov. Yeah. So Abus, not the best. But Mikhail Alexeychuk, not the best either. You know, Mikhail is more wild though, more kill or be killed type of guy. Abus probably gonna be technically. Striking wise, technically, he's going to be the better striker. It's just his gas tank isn't the best. So it's a pretty even fight there. Mikhail's more wild, so I believe he could catch Abus better than Abus could catch him, if that makes sense in the striking. Abus has had better opponents. I think it's an interesting fight. I could see it going either way. I'm going to go with Mikhail Alexeychuk, and there's 2 possible outcomes. I think he's going to win by knockout or TKO. Excuse me, that is for sure. I could see it being round 1, because he's wild. You know, he's coming in there being wild, catches Abus. Or I could see it in round 3, and he's kind of losing, but Abus gets tired, then he finishes him. It's a matter of which one do I want to pick. Let's go Mikhail Alexeychuk round 3. We're going to go round 3, knockout or TKO over Abus Magomedov. Abus gets tired in the third and then gets finished by Mikhail Alexeychuk in a fight that Abus might even be winning after that point. That's just how I feel. That's just how I see this one going. Like I said, battle of mid versus midder. And yeah, that's how we start the main card. But you know what fight's very fun and interesting? This one right here. Ikram Aliskerov versus Bruno Ferreira. Middleweight fight. This one is fun, bro. This is an underrated banger. This is great matchmaking right here. Shout out Hunter Campbell, because I know Dana White ain't make none of this bullshit. Anyway, very fun fight, I said. Even matchup, fun strikers. Aliskerov's only loss. He's got 2 losses in his career. Robert Whittaker and Khamzat Chimaev, bro. Not bad. Not bad. Anyway. This one can go either way. I believe Bruno Ferreira is more powerful. They both have been knocked out before. Aliskerov is better on the ground. Maybe more technical of a striker, just not as powerful. I've been so on the fence about this one. But when I looked at, it's not the betting odds, but the Tapology odds, they had a lot of people big favorites for Ikram Aliskerov. They didn't have it very close, and I disagree with that a lot. I believe this is a very close fight. So close, in fact, that I'm going to take Bruno Ferreira. I'm doing it, man. I'm doing it. Give me Bruno Ferreira, and give me a round 3 knockout or TKO. You know what I'm saying? Maybe close him. He's coming off a bad loss. He lost to RoboCop in his last fight. 1-punch knockout. But he's got knockout power. He's dangerous. We've seen him on the ground. He's got underrated ground game as well. I believe he can give Ikram more problems than most people think. Like I said, very close fight, very fun fight. Could see it going either way. But I'm gonna go Bruno Ferreira, round 3 knockout or TKO over Ikram Aliskerov. Gonna be a fun fight. Very excited for that one. That takes us to the flyweights. Azus Almabayev versus Charles Johnson. Like I said, rough names to pronounce on here. Charles Johnson. Good lord, tough one. Anyway, Azus, only UFC loss is to Manel Kape, who we just saw in the main event last week, beat Kyoji Horiguchi and possibly get himself a title shot. He's way more consistent than Charles Johnson, and he's also a way better grappler, way better wrestler. Charles Johnson's super unpredictable. He struggles with grapplers. We know this. His striking is better than Azus Almabayev's. He's got wins over Joshua Van and Leonard Kavanaugh. I feel like that's all anyone talks about when we talk about Charles Johnson. Dude beat Joshua Van one time. Dude beat Leonard Kavanaugh. I don't care. He's losing this fight. I could totally see Azus submitting him. He's a better grappler, but Charles Johnson's never been submitted. He just gets dominated by grapplers on the ground. So that's kind of what I think is going to happen. So give me Azus Almabayev by decision, 30-27 over Charles Johnson via lots of grappling and wrestling. Just making Johnson uncomfortable, man. Making him, he can't handle the grappling well. He can't handle the wrestling. I believe both these guys will never touch a title in the UFC, but I do believe there is a good, decent margin of skill gap here in favor of Azus Almabayev. So I think he's going to win by decision over Charles Johnson in this flyweight fight here in Baku. That takes us to the co-main. Nazim Sadikov versus Matheus Camilo. Good lord. All right. Sadikov is way better. He's a way better striker. His only loss is to Fresiem. This fight's pretty easy to predict. It's pretty lopsided. The more you dig deep into it, the more you see it's kind of lopsided. Matheus Camilo. Fireworks. Hopefully. Matheus Camilo is, he's not that good anywhere. He's just okay. Sadikov is a way better striker. He's probably going to be a better grappler as well. Like I said, very lopsided here. So I'm going to go with Nazim Sadikov by round 2 knockout or TKO. Picking apart Camilo the whole fight and finally putting him out in round number 2 to win in the Coco main event. Bounce back after losing to Fresiem, because that is his only loss in the UFC. Give himself his 12th win. Keep the ball rolling. You know what it is. You know what it ain't. Middleweight. I'm rhyming. Co-main event. Sharabutin, Sharabulit, Magomedov taking on Michel Paleta. Middleweight fight here. We knew Sharabulit was going to be on this card because he can't fight in the U.S. And he's taking on Michel Pereira. Michel. You know him. He's the backflip guy. He's always doing something wild, running around, headstands, flipping off the cage. I don't know. You know the stuff he does. You know what it is. You know what it ain't. And Sharabulit. We know Sharabulit. Good kickboxer. Good striker's been doing some grappling a lot lately. I believe it's a very one-sided matchup. It's a fun striking matchup on the feet, but Michel Pereira he's past his prime. He's never beaten anyone good in his UFC career. He's beaten all kind of not more or less cans. His last fight was a split decision against Zachary Reese. Sharabutin, his only loss is to Michael Venom Page, who I believe should be exterminated from all combat sports. But that's a tough puzzle to figure out. So can't fault him too much there. So yeah, I think Sharabulit's gonna win this fight, pretty handedly. So handedly that I think he's gonna win by round 2 knockout or TKO. Like I said, I believe Michel's just past his prime, way past his prime. Not the better striker, not the better grappler, probably not. I can't think of any Michel Pereira grappling on top of my head at all right now. Crazy that's not just sitting somewhere in my mind, right? But no, give me Sharabulit, round 2 knockout or TKO over Michel Pereira in the co-main event. I believe they like Sharabulit. They know people want to watch him. Get him a good win. Easy work. We move on to the main course, the main event, the reason we're all here. Lightweight main event, Rafael Fiziev versus Manuel Torres. This fight's tricky. It could be tricky. We got old guard, new guard. Old guard, Rafael Fiziev. New guard, Manuel Torres. Going to be a fun striking matchup. We know this. Fiziev, when it comes to technique, is going to be way better technically than Manuel Torres. But when it comes to power, definitely in the hands of Manuel Torres. Rafael Fiziev has been in some wars. He had a lot of Muay Thai and kickboxing in his career before the UFC. Then he came to UFC and had a bunch of wars as well. I think it was 2 fights with Justin Gaethje. He just had that fight where he got knocked out, got slimed out by Mauricio Rufy. So he's like 1-4 in his last 5. He blew out his knee against Mateus Gamrot. Crafty vet Mateus Gamrot used his mind powers to blow out his knee. Incredible work by the scammer. That being said, he's, like I said, technically he's going to be a better fighter, more well-rounded than Manuel Torres. Manuel Torres has solid takedown defense and anti-wrestling, but the last time he faced a good, like, competent striker was Ignacio Bahamondes, who knocked him out. So it's like, So I could see this being a Fiziev still got it, shows levels, beats up on the young kid Torres. You know, I could see that. Little Arnold Allen, Melky Costa-esque. But last time I picked the old head to show levels was Bilal Muhammad against Bonfim, and he got the shit beat out of him. So I'm not doing that again, man. Give me Manuel Torres to win this fight. I could see Rafael Fiziev looking better on the feet, probably winning little bits at time, but his chin's been tested. He's taking a lot of damage. As soon as Manuel Torres lands a good shot, it's going to be rough for Rafael Fiziev. So I'm going to go with Manuel Torres round 3. Knockout or TKO over Rafael Fiziev in the main event. A little nervous about that one. There could be some crafty... You smell that? Smells like crafty vet. So I could see it happening. But I'm going to push that down. Go with the young kid. Give me Manuel Torres. Round 3 knockout or TKO to end the night in the main event. And there you have it. My breakdown and predictions for every single fight for UFC. Baku Fiziev versus Torres. That goes down tomorrow morning. For me, 9 a.m. sharp. I will be up and watching. Very fun card. No women's fights. That's a plus. A lot of fun fights. Main card looks good. Some interesting debuts. And there you have it, bro. Those are my predictions. So, like the video. I appreciate that. Subscribe to the channel as always. Comment. Let me know who you think is going to win, especially the main event. I'm curious. You guys think Fiziev crafty vets it up, or do you think Manuel Torres puts him out? I want to know. Let me know. Follow my socials. They'll be linked in the description. But as always, it's showtime.tv04 as it is here on YouTube. Also on TikTok and Instagram for short form content. So I'd appreciate a follow over there. That would be great. Next video coming up will be the recap and reaction, of course, of this event. Then after that, bro, International Fight Week. The MAC is back. We're going to do breakdown and predictions for Conor McGregor versus Max Holloway, UFC 329. You do not want to miss that. That's going to be a fun one. That's a fun card. Dana, your mom is a fun card. I say it every episode, bro. You know what it is. You know what it ain't. Thank you for watching the video. I will see you guys in the next one.